What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Michael. For those of you that are new, we're going to be beginning on reading a slight description of the Taurus, as you see from the title of this video. But we're going to go ahead and read a slight description of what it represents, or what they represent, or what you represent, right? So we have Taurus, right? We have the second sign of the zodiac. Taurus is symbolized by the stubborn bull. Taurus is an earthly, sultry sign. Ruled by Venus, Tauruses enjoy the life of luxury and are not afraid to put in the long hours and effort to really get what they want. They may work hard and play harder. Tauruses get attention when they enter a room and are known for their fashion sense. One of the most generous signs of the zodiac, Taurus is the best bay out there and definitely amongst the sexiest. So that's just a slight description of what the Taurus is about, right, pertaining to it. But let's go ahead and get into this reading. This video is going to be coming from the ancestral guidance cards. They do have a name up top. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. This is in a different language, and I don't want to disrespect the culture of these cards, right? So just going to be from a guidebook from here. We're not going to be reading directly from the guidebook. I like to review these on my personal time. I don't want to waste you guys' time, and I also wanted to come directly from my spirit. Like, I feel like if I give you guys my personal opinions, or at least the mentality of at the moment, you know what I mean? That's how I like to look at it. When I go back, I like to review, and then I get more in detail and more informative. And as time goes on, my videos get more, they come a little bit more informative, so it's a lot more on point. But I like to say that for personal time. But right now we're gonna go ahead and review these cards. I'm gonna be doing a deck of 8, as well as just reviewing them, giving my personal opinions here and there. It's not necessarily about me; it's about collectively. So we're just gonna do a collective reading, and for the Taurus, as well as understanding. I will throw some advice and things like that I've learned personally. You don't have to take it you don't have to take it literal, but you can take it with a grain of salt. You can just, I don't want to do too much talking, but that's just some slight description of how I'm going to be doing it, right? Or how I generally do it, right? Let's go ahead, Spirit. What do we have for the Taurus? All right. First one we have is leg of hand. Right, so we have the hand treads on her cheeks, but she does not kill them, right? So this could be a form of tolerance. This could be, for me, again, this is coming from where my mind is going at the moment. And then, of course, as I reviewed, and the longer I do it, the better I become, things like that, right? As with everything. Now, if you're thinking about things that typically you need a lot of tolerance for, like if somebody's treading on your shoes, and you need tolerance to not lash out on them, or you're in a party and somebody spills drink, you need that type of tolerance to not grab a bottle and hit them in the side of the head. You know what I mean? As violent as that sounds, that's how things happen, right? So it's kind of like having control over your environment and your situations. Some things are called for, other things are not, right? So it's just having that discernment that you're going to be using throughout your life, having that tolerance level, being able to not accept things, but in a way understand things. Okay, somebody was walking, they probably didn't see me right there. There's a bunch of people. He slipped. He must have, he probably did. I'm gonna go in detail. He probably did go ahead and stepped on my shoes. Sorry. Then you probably ask him to apologize. He's probably not gonna apologize. If you analyze the situation, you could probably see his friends there or his girlfriends there. Maybe it's an ego thing. He doesn't want to feel like you're forcing him to do something. Therefore, he's gonna retaliate and say, "I'm not apologizing." So when you start to look at an entire situation, you can kind of accept things for what it is. And if you really analyze the situation, see who the person's with, and ask yourself, is it really necessary to engage with that for something simple as some sniggers? Like, you know what I mean? Where this could cause that person to react a certain way. Now you gotta react a certain way to double on what you said, so that you don't look like the person that's backing on, and now y'all fighting. Now there's violence involved. Now you might be serving time in jail. Now you might have a record. Now it might help you or prevent you from getting into a certain field. So it's like all of that is not necessary over some sniggers, right? Over something, and he was already walking away. So I'm just using that as an example. So sometimes you have to be tolerable to a degree for certain situations that are not that much of a big deal of what we're gonna make them to. I know it sounds like a runoff, and it sounds like I'm just rambling, but trust me, it happens all the time. So that's my viewpoint to that, right? All right, what's next? All right, we have here, he who does not know, a symbol of lifelong learning. Right? My grandfather told me, he's still around to this day, God bless his soul. Wait, now should I say that? God bless his living soul, I should say that. Now, he explained to me, you learn from the cradle to the grave. No matter what situation you think that you know, you can be confident. Don't ever be arrogant. Don't ever feel like, in fact, it shares far more results if you just sit back and act as if, not act like, don't act like you don't know things. Like, don't be up there just physically acting like you don't know things, but kind of give room for people to teach you a little bit. Even though I might, be shuffling cards, I might want my twin flame to come assist me with certain things. I might want her to teach me a few things or things like that. Or let's say we're out and I'm shopping and I like a certain shirt. I might ask her for her opinion. You know what I mean? It's just it's a community thing. Everybody's gonna learn from each other, but most importantly, you're never gonna know it all. Right? No matter how much books you read, how much movies, you will never know everything. So you always will be in this learning progress, which I think is an amazing thing. If we look at it to say, it's like a new day every day. I feel like you know what? I was telling my wife. I was telling her in breakfast or something like that we was eating, and I was like, you know what? If you think about it, every day you wake up, it is a new day. It is a new life, because think of a baby. Now I could be dead wrong about this statement, but I think of it like a baby. A baby's eyes are pretty much shut. Well, from what I know, from my perspective, I feel like a baby's eyes are closed because there's no light in his stomach, right? Then when it comes out and sees the natural light, that's when the eyes come open. That's when it sees everybody, the dad, the mom, whoever, right? And I feel like at that moment, it's kind of like us when we wake up in the morning. Now, I could be, like I said, this analogy could be so far-fetched, but I feel like that's my personal opinion. I feel like when we wake up in the morning and we see the world, it's like we're living a whole new day, because a whole new day is a whole new day, right? So it's like each day you learn something, and you learn from the cradle to the grave. And if you apply that mentality, even in negative situations, you will find something to gain from it. You guys ever lost something? If you even if, for an example, let's say, God forbid this happened, any of you guys, but let's say you lost your keys. You might learn to put your keys in the same place every night, so you never lose them. Or your phone's dead. You might learn from that situation. I will always charge my phone the night before, so that in the morning my phone's always ready to go. See what I'm saying? So it's just situations like that. You just learn from them. You learn from your downfalls. You learn from your upcomings. All of that good stuff. And we will always remember that we learn from the cradle to the grave. Every day is a life experience. Lifelong learning, right? All right, next one. What do we have? Taurus. We have rays. So we have the original all-seeing eye symbol that represents the cosmos and the spiritual world. I do believe in having that third eye, having that bird's eye viewpoint. Here's the thing, right? I'm gonna say this. I want you guys, when you guys are making decisions, especially, try to detach your emotions from a lot of them, because you have to look at it from an overall aspect. Like, say somebody, for an example, comes to you and tells you about something. You could go off of that in emotional essence to say somebody told you, and I know a lot of you guys are probably not going to understand this right away, but let's say somebody told you somebody put their hands on one of your people that you love, right? Instead of reacting on some emotional things, you got to take a step back and look at it from a bird's eye perspective. You got to make sure that you get all the context before you go and react. You got to make sure who did what, why, because you just can't react off of that. And the reason why I apply that to the third seeing eyes, because you got to think of it like this, right? We see with these two eyes, right? We see what's in front of us. But the third eye, or the one that sees it all, it's seeing what this eye sees and what this eye sees. Say if you're seeing with your regular eyes and you close his eye, now you can only see on your right peripheral. Right. This peripheral, because I don't know what side you guys are on. So you can only see from this peripheral. If you see from this one, you can only see from this peripheral. But if you have one eye, you ain't gonna shut that eye. You know what I'm saying? That eye most likely is gonna see from all angles. So I feel like it's an important. It's a great task to be able to detach your emotions from a lot of big decisions that you make, and see things from all angles, all perspectives. by using your spirit eye. And the reason why I say spirit eye, because it's like your human characteristics are going to react, but a spirit is knowledgeable. A spirit is very like angels and all of that. They're very knowledgeable. They're far beyond human nature. Like they don't really go off of, I'm not saying they don't go for feelings because I don't know, but I assume they go more off of something deeper than that, something more knowledgeable. Like they're very in tune. So it's like it's bigger than us. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like they kind of see things from a larger perspective. So I that's just my couple opinions that I just threw in there. That's how I like to view things, just to look at things from a bird's eye perspective. The decisions you're making and all of these things. But yeah, OCNI. That's what I think in my everyday OCNI. Because I'm not saying like, oh, I use my OCNI to see the future or nothing like that. I mean, of course I can't see the future, but from a bird's eye perspective, it's like instead of looking at things, it's like this. Instead of looking at your situation as to say, oh, I'm having a bad vibe, I'm having a bad day, I'm around bad people, negative energies. You kind of try to look beyond that and try to see, all right, what can I do in the future? Or how can I plan for a better future? Or something like that, right? Just something along them lines of seeing beyond what's in front of you, right? All right, next one. What do we have for the Taurus? We have here Spider's web. So we have a symbol of wisdom, creativity, and the complexities of life. Sorry if I pronounce this wrong. Ananis is a well-known character in West African folklore. He is described as the messenger of the supreme being. He also bears the title of chief prankster, right? So we have Spider's web. So yeah, it symbols creativity, wisdom. One fun fact, I was actually reading a book, and I will actually share it to you. Why not? You guys have any library? You ever see this book? I got it for like $20. I'm so serious. There's a price tag right there. $20. That's where I'm from. I'm on an island, so it's probably a bit more expensive than where you guys is at. If you're in the U.S. and things like that. I think this comes from the U.S. I'm pretty sure. So this book is kind of about pretty much like a thing. It's like a biography in a sense of like, well, that's how I looked at it. I looked at it like a biography of like of course they have a witch guide. More so, it's detailing a lot of different aspects of what the witch and the of what the energy is. Like, okay, I don't want to get too deep into it because, like I said, I didn't say this, but I'm not too knowledgeable. I've only reviewed it once, and I'm still reading it, so I'm not going to like try to get into detail what the actual book represents. But I learned something in there relating to this, that if spiders appear in your home, and I'm not talking about like if you're just out here not cleaning up and then you got spider webs just hanging from your ceiling. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, like, let's just say even if you're clean, because I'm like, my house is clean, you feel me? I don't have to prove this to you guys, but I'm just saying. But I still get those little spiders and things like that. And I always wondered, apparently, or this is what it's been said, that when spiders appear, it's like they're attracted to not witches, but like great energy type of thing, because it's creative. Even if you look at like spider webs, right? You gotta have some type of skill set, an amazing craft as a spider can like really make even webs. Y'all seen the blow up picture of like Spider-Man, and they really be doing that. So I don't know. It's just different, So it's like it's an interesting fact. I think not an interesting fact, I would say, but an interesting topic that I thought you guys might have wanted to know if you guys are having little spiders and stuff. It's pretty cool. And the author says not to kill them intentionally. I like to grab a cup. Like I have under my kitchen sink. I have like 2 plastic cups. One, if like say one is for like a moth or something, and I like capture it and I just throw it outside. I just take it outside or whatever. Or if I could just scoop them up and just like so it's like it's cool to have that. Try not to just again, I can't speak for you guys, but try not to kill them intentionally. Try to find some type of if you got I can't speak for everybody, because if you got like some type of tarantula running loose in your crib, then I don't know what to tell you about that situation. I only have these little baby ones, daddy long legs at the most. So if you got something like that, you might want to get somebody professional out there. Probably not if you want to save, probably not like an exterminator, but probably somebody that deals with those type of situations. Where I'm from, we don't really have this, but yeah. So yeah, but the spot is an interesting thing. But being creative, looking at things differently, wisdom, adapting creativity. Um, I'm not saying that reading books is gonna make you smart, Einstein and all that, but if you have a decision to either if you have a choice, right, to either watch television to gain information and read, what would you rather do? You can do both. If you have 3 hours of television, I would strongly suggest even taking 30 minutes out of that 3 hours. So you could still have 2.5 hours of television and have 30 minutes of reading. Reason why I say reading improves because it improves your speech, it improves your wordplay. You can know how to use your vocabulary a lot better because you have more words to play with because you're learning more words. It improves a lot of that stuff, and you gain information while doing so. And it's a peaceful thing, which means you have to imagine things. It doesn't just show you in your face. You have to read it, understand it, and then picture what's going on, what's the scene, or what's the topic. So it definitely teaches you about an understanding. And you also have patience for reading as well. You can't skip through channels. You can't just skip through, you know what I mean? You have to actually read each word to understand the context of the book. So I will say that's something I strongly advocate. When you adapt wisdom, you make smarter choices in life. That doesn't mean you're gonna be a millionaire, billionaire. That all depends on how your finances are set up. But you will most likely not end up in a lot of different situations because you'll know how to avoid them, and you probably won't even be interested in doing a lot of things. And I'm not gonna name them because I don't want to make it seem like I'm against certain things, but I just feel like if people was, or not saying if people were anything, because we're doing great as I feel like, everybody's, doing their own thing. But if you guys are going through something, I would encourage you guys to, try to gain as much wisdom as possible. Things like that, right? But anywho, let's keep going. Taurus. All right, we have conjoined crocodiles, right? So we have the conjoined crocodiles share a single stomach and yet fight over food. This could be a form of greed. If you guys got like a sibling or a friend and things like that where y'all share merchandise, but you guys still, for some reason, can't agree to just split the profit or split the food sources or split anything. It's always like that bickering moment. Being greedy can play a lot of downfall. We gotta start to look at our food, and I say we because it's a collective read. Everybody's involved with these type of videos. Now I do feel like we gotta start to understand where we're at. One of the best ways to do so is recognizing your blessings. Try your best, or not even your best. We all have to try our best to look at our own blessings, look at our own food, look at our own plate, and be appreciative of those things. You can't have everything in the world. You know what I'm saying? Well, I ain't gonna say that, but you get my point. You get my point. My analogy I'm trying to make, which means falling back from that category. Now, if there are people in your life that adapt these traits or promote these traits, if you can reason with them or you can show them, listen, we should do it this way, because if we both focus on what we got and not bicker and fight, then we can have more in the future. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually that's just how it works. Now, if they're not willing to reason with you, then maybe this person is not the best place you want to share your attributes or your blessings with. And that sounds harsh, but I mean, reality is, if y'all fighting over food, let's just put it this. Let's speak figuratively, but literally. If y'all fighting over food, let's say a piece of chicken, y'all fighting, y'all going at it, and this person overpowers you in strength or build or whatever the case is, chances are you're probably gonna end up dying off because you don't have food sources. So now they always get that chicken wing that you both worked for. You both shared the work. The work. How can I put it? Y'all both went out and worked just as evenly or just as hard to get this chicken wing, but they overpowered you because they want to be greedy. They take the chicken wing. You say, "Oh, it's okay because they're family," whatever the case is. Now you never eat. Now you die off. You feel me? So you gotta kind of look at that. If you guys can't reason with each other, it's probably not best. That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna join ventures with somebody, make sure that that person is indeed someone of a character that's willing to be grateful for their blessings, and you guys can share, and then y'all can come together and work together. If you can't work together, it don't make sense working at all. Believe it's Cowboy 147. I think so. I'm gonna give credit where it's due. He said in the song, I think it's Barbarian. He said I believe it's Barbarian. The song featuring Lil TJ. He said something along the lines of, if the crew ain't right, then the ship gonna sink. I'm not saying he quoted this first, but I've heard that in the song, and that was a nice line for him. For him to say that it shows like people is really catching on. Like, look, the community, the partnership, the relationship, everything has to work. It ain't gonna work one way. For people out there, you guys can't just think that, I'm just gonna do all of it. No, people have to play their part, even if it means not doing exactly what you're doing to make the voyage work, but at least playing their own specific rules. I'm gonna grab this one. Spoke to me. We have war horn, right? A symbol of vigilance and wariness. The Akabian is a horn used to sound a battle cry. This could be a signal, right? This could be a signal. Things could be happening. Battle, right? Battle cry. This could be a signal that things could be taking place. You might have a funny feeling, and okay. I'm giving an example like parents, right? We all know, like, what I've heard personally, I don't know if you have, but I've heard personally that parents typically get like a funny feeling when something's up with the kids or whatever. So you probably can be getting a sign or a warning that it's time to make a change. Things could be happening. A war could be breaking out. It doesn't have to be a political war, like a full-fledged voyage of people slashing each other. This could just be a diverse, right? This could be two family members ain't getting along. This could be something went wrong. Something in business went wrong, and all two parties don't see eye to eye. You could be getting these type of warnings. If you get a phone call or things like that to prepare, or you get some type of funny feeling that things are not going, they're not good, that something could happen. I'm not saying you have to act on it in a literal sense to go get yourself some firearms or whatever, but move with caution if you do have a funny feeling. The same way if you're playing a lotto and you have a funny feeling that you should pick up a certain car, or if, how can I put it? It's like a sign. It's the same way you guys ever went to the gas station and got like a bag of chips, and you like feel the top of the bag of chips to see which one would you get. Or if you, for an example, if you see a bag of chips that's open, that's a sign for you not to even try it, because it potentially might be something in there, or somebody might have spat in it, or somebody might spit it in it, or did something nasty to it. So we tend to not pick a product that's open already, right? That's the same sense as when it comes down to a spiritual world where there's a sign. A sign can't possibly prevent or promote you to do something, right? So just keep that in mind. Is if you're going to like a certain event and you heard shots fired off, like gunshots or whatever, you're probably not going to go to that event anymore. You're probably going to go away. It's just a bunch of different signs that I'm not saying you have to legit take literal, but at least keep an eye open. If you have a little birdie tweets in your ear about something's about to go down, you're gonna be ready. It's better to be ready than be sorry about it, right? Safe than sorry type of thing. Okay, let's see what else we have for the Taurus. Oh, you saw that? All right, I know y'all saw that one. Change your attitude, signifying personal reflection. Sorry, yeah. Okay, I said it right. Signifying personal reflection and transformation. It is a composition of two Anarcha symbols, the inner star, which represents a new day, and an outer wheel, which implies moving forward. You woke up today is a new day. Excuse me, sorry about that. excuse me. Even if, let me tell you guys, I'm gonna give you a personal example. I'm just getting the hang, or not just getting the hang of it, but I've started to develop a routine, a schedule, as I was telling you guys, promoting that, So even if I'm on a rough start of the day or whatever, I jam onto some music because it's a new day and I try to reflect. I try to get out of the energy. If I'm having the energy of feeling down or distracted or whatever, I try to get out of the energy and I try to listen to some music and stuff and remind myself it's a new day. You woke up this morning as a whole new day. We gotta change our mentality. Being in that rugged ain't gonna solve anything. Being negative ain't gonna solve nothing. Gotta find different ways to be positive about it. If you work all day, you're like, well, Mike, I work all day. How can I change my life from working all day? Take that money and stack it. Do what the people say. I don't know. Like, look, if I had money to, if I worked, I remember one point I did work 12-hour shifts. If I worked 12-hour shifts again, and if I had to do things differently, I would probably take that money, that extra money that I would have, and I'll just stack it up. Like they say, just stack it for 2 years or whatever. I'm just saying, like I'm just trying to be optimistic. You stack it for 2 years, and then you turn around and you take that money and then you put it into some real estate, not even real estate, some stocks or whatever, right? Well, whatever, right? If you're kind, thing is, if all your bills are being met, you take that extra money, you put it aside for other things that could potentially grow your income, so that you can work less hours, so that you can do more of your time. Do whatever it takes. Just try to be optimistic about your situation. If you're working more, 9-10 times you're getting paid more. So you can use that to your advantage as leverage because you have finance to do so. So just keep that in mind. Because a lot of people, let me tell you, even me personally, I don't work as much hours as I used to, but I don't have the guarantee no more. Like there's no like, I can have this so much money every day in my account because I've been working this so much hours. You know what I mean? So that's just something that take into consideration when you see people with more time on their hands. You have to take in consideration they're not getting paid for them hours that they're not working. So just keep that to take that as an optimistic mentality, because we find ourselves too much focusing on the negative side and we're not realistically looking at the positive that we behold. So even though other people might be living their life, or quote quote whatever you try to call it, for one, don't focus on them. For two, look at what your situation beholds. Oh, you're working all the time? Okay, it's time to stack then. Your time of the moment has come. And I talked about this in my last video. It's all about the time of the moment. Everybody has their time to do what they need to do. You take that time of the moment, you stack your cheese, you stay out of the way, stay clear of drama and all of that, and then you take that money, you put it into things, so then one day you will have more time in your day. Just know you're not going to have the money, or I'm not saying you're not going to have money, but you're not going to have trade for time. You're going to be more so doing other things. Just make sure that when you do that transition, I encourage you guys to also have events planned for then as well, because one wrong move can take all that hard work away. Trust me, right? But anyway, we're not here to ramble and on. I just want to give you guys that kind of that personal vent session to understand how things can be transformed for you guys, and being able to change your mentality no matter what the situation is. As I just said, people have more time with less money. People have more money with more time. I mean, more time. Hold on, because I feel like that could take out of context. People have more time with less money, and people have less time with more money. Now you do have the middleman there of the more time and more money, but that's depends on the parents and what situation they work in. So we're not even gonna, like I said, let's not focus on what we don't have. Let's focus on what we do have and how can we benefit and how can we work towards our goals or desires or whatever. See what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. All right. I just want to give you guys that rundown real quick, because I do believe that looking at things from a different perspective helps our emotions a lot more, and it kind of improves things. Okay, we are now going to be doing one more card for the Taurus. We're going to wrap it up. Taurus. We have accept God. So accepting the higher power in your life. God is an omnipotent. The symbol expressed the deep faith the Arcans have in the Supreme Being. If you ain't got faith, listen, let me tell you something, right? And I'm not trying to be judgmental. I've worked with somebody that proclaimed atheist. He even played in a church. Um, however, played a band in the church. However, look, which is, you know what I'm saying. But hey, business is business in his eyes, I guess. But listen, I'm gonna say this: believing in the higher power, people take it in a literal aspect to say, I'm not around fires and praising the Most High. I'm not on my knees every night. Like people take it in that sense. Even though yes, I would advocate to pray, things like that. But it's way deeper than what people are associating with when it comes down to worshiping. Like just because you go to church doesn't necessarily mean you have faith. That's a thing. That's a real thing, right? And here's why. If you have faith in a higher power and in yourself, um, you will do things that is scary. You will, you know what I'm saying? Look, I'm gonna give an example. You have entrepreneurship, right? People want to be entrepreneurs, but they want to have that guarantee side of like what a job will provide. Oh, I get a guaranteed paycheck every month. You can't. That doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that because you're just some successful entrepreneur. No, I'm saying that because it's like you can't have it that way. That's not how it works. So it's like it's the same analogy we gotta apply to the higher power. We can't say, well, we believe in. It's like they say, God made man like Him, right? So we don't believe in Him. We don't believe in ourselves. That's how I think. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not going deep into the religion side of things. That's besides the point of what my point. My point I'm trying to make is you have people that say that they believe and they don't believe in themselves. They're scared. They're nervous, and it's okay to be nervous, but don't let that nervous prevent you from doing what you want to do in life, right? On the other hand, you have people that proclaim atheists and they don't believe. They don't believe in a higher power, then they don't believe in themselves as much, right? Right? Because now I could be dead wrong, but from personal experience, I've seen someone wanting to do something and never attempted it because maybe a fear, whatever the case is. But like I said, believing for me means I believe in a higher power because I believe the higher power made us of Him, made us like of Him. So I believe in higher power in a sense, kind of to motivate me to keep going. It's like when you like what they say all the time. Oh, I was at the half of the mountain, and something told me keep going, and they just believe in something so deeply they're willing to damn or die from it. Like that's how much they deeply believe in something. So I feel like that's kind of like that. You're gonna believe in something to a point where you're willing to risk it all for it. That's my true definition of having faith and accepting God into your life. Remember, it's not to be taken like I feel like there's so much religious and stuff like that like you have Jah, you have Jehovah, you have Christianity. It's so much different things you feel like is the right or the wrong way. Which one's the right? There is no right or wrong way to having faith in the higher power, the higher being. We all come from one person, I believe. And God is a way of symbolizing. It's like a king and a queen, right? You have king and a. If you say king and queen, people's gonna ask you what king or queen. Is it the queen of I could be dead wrong. I think they're called pharaohs, but they could be like, oh, is it the king of Egypt? Is it the king of England? Is it the president? You know what I'm saying? So it's like different ways to put it, but no matter what, it's still an authority overall. So we can have different names for the higher power. It doesn't matter what you decide to call it. In fact, you can call it whatever name you really want to call it, as long as it's not disrespectful in my eyes. Call it whatever name that whatever word you use, as long as it doesn't symbolize some negativity, right? Like if you call them the B word or something, obviously that signifies, well, that of itself is its own little definition. We take it out of context. We use it out of context. But if you call them some other word that's classified as like a negative thing, like the R word or stuff like that, right? If you try to label them as that, then obviously that's disrespectful because of what the word associates itself with. But that's all that is. So you guys don't have to really take it in a way where you gotta wear certain garments. Now it's nice to get involved if that's your culture, but it's nothing to be worried and scared about accepting the Lord in your life, right? It's just meaning to say you have faith in a higher being whom has faith in you. And by that, you have faith in yourself because you're investing your time and energy into something that's going to put back into you. That doesn't mean you're doing it for that specific reason, but essentially that's what's going to happen because you're going to have belief, you're going to have faith in this being. Then by having faith in something, you now have faith in yourself. It's like trusting people. You don't, it's like that. And I don't want to get too deep into it and things like that. I feel like I'm just running on now. But anyway, that's your videos. I'm sorry, let me bring that over. That's your videos for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this video. And until next time, I will see you guys soon. Oh, also leave a comment in the comment section if you enjoyed this video. See y'all soon.